Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be connecting our journal home screen to our backend to basically a view controller. So let's go ahead and get started. You get new file and I'm going to select CoverTouch class, subclass of UIViewController. I'm going to call this journal view controller, and I'm going to create and going to go back to storyboard and make sure that my journal is connected to journal view controller like so. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our view controller and remove all the unnecessary comments. Okay, import Firebase, although we're not gonna need it right now. Let's create IP outlet for table view, UI table view. Okay, now our view controller is going to conform to our table view delegate and data source. So we're going to provide those. So we can simply say extension journal view controller view data source. There are two required properties that we need to actually provide: number of rows in or two required functions basically where we need to provide number of rows in section. We're going to return 10, for example, in this case, and cell for row at index path is going to be another one. So we're going to say cell is equal to table view dot dq cell with identifier, and we're going to give it an identifier cell, and we're going to return that cell on route. Okay, now while we are at it, actually I think we should also create a new table view cell, and we should connect it, but before we do that, we need a model class that is going to hold all our journals that we are going to create. Okay, so let's go ahead and first create our model class, and we're gonna basically structure it how the data is going to be stored inside that model. So let's go ahead and select a Swift file and click next, and this time we're gonna name it journal entry and just save it. Okay, make sure you import from UIKit, and then gonna create a struct named journal entry. Okay, you're gonna create 4 properties. So entry of type string, entry date of type date, title for our journal, so string, and user ID, the user who has created this journal. So we can actually segregate each user's journal and keep them private from all the other users. Okay, once we have these three, we're going to need a dictionary that we're going to use with Firebase. So let's go ahead and create that as well. So dictionary property, this is going to be of type string and any, and basically it's going to return dictionary for all of our properties. So it's going to be entry, value is going to be entry, and then you're going to have entry date, and that's what we're going to call it here. Reason we are doing this, you're going to see in a bit, it makes it convenient for us to actually retrieve values from Firebase database, and then parse it using having this property is actually makes it a little bit easier. Otherwise, every single time when you download the data, you have to actually parse it explicitly. But with this, you can actually simply pass that dictionary and get that value back, and we're going to create another overload basically to handle a slightly different situation. When you initialize a journal with a dictionary value, then we can actually populate these local properties. You're going to see what I'm talking about. If it doesn't make sense, it's going to make it in a few minutes. Okay, so this is our dictionary. Now let's create an extension for this struct. And here, first we're gonna create, or we're gonna create a new initializer, and this initializer is gonna take a dictionary of type string and any, and we can check if dictionary provides value for entry, if it provides value for entry date, so let's copy entry date here. So we're gonna make sure all these other values are actually provided to us, and this is how Firebase dictionary is going to be converted into our model class. So user ID, and I'm going to show you, like, where we actually gonna need it once we get to that point. But while we are creating a model class, we might as well create this. So okay, if it's not provided, then we're gonna return nil. All right. Otherwise, we're gonna say self.init, and we're gonna initialize our journal. So entry date, title, and user ID. Okay. With that, let's make sure. Okay, so one thing we want to make sure, it's a good reminder. We need to make sure that these are optional. So as string, as date, as string, and this is as string as well. Okay. Alright, that'll work. Okay, so with this, let's go ahead and go back and create our table view cell now. So let me create a new file. Okay, select Coco Touch class. This time we're going to be inheriting from UI table view cell, and we're going to call this journal table view cell, and going to save it. Okay, first entry we need is a journal that's going to be initialized by our table view. So we're gonna say if it's been set, we wanna set some certain properties here. So what properties we need to set? First, let's create some outlets. IB outlet week var journal date UI label title UI label as well. General details, detail UI label as well. Okay. So with these three properties, three outlets created, let's go ahead and go to our view controller or storyboard, and we're gonna select our cell and gonna give it a class journal table view cell. Gonna make sure the outlet is connected to all its controls. So journal date goes to this date, journal detail goes to this detail label, and title goes to this title label. Okay. Now one more thing we want to make sure is this view right here that's holding our date is circular, so let's make it rounded corner, and we're going to give it a 70 as corner radius, and let's give it 4 for border width and light gray as its border. Okay, with that said, let's go back to table view cell, and we're going to say here if let journal is equal to journal, and we're going to say self dot journal date dot text is equal to journal. Okay, so it's our date, so first we need actually date format, so you want to support that format that we have selected. So let's go ahead and create a new extension. So I'm going to create a new file, a Swift file. Swift file is going to have it's going to have a name of date plus string, date plus format. That means extension to date format, and we're gonna say UI kit, gonna create an extension for date, and we're simply gonna say toString, and this toString is going to take a date format string, and it will return a string. Okay, you're gonna create a date formatter here, date formatter dot date format is equal to date format is equal to the format that we have been supplied, and we're simply gonna return date formatter dot string from date itself. Okay, now this is going to make it easier for us to deal with dates, basically. That's why we have created that. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply say self dot journal date dot text is equal to journal dot entry date dot toString, and this toString is basically the new extension that we have created, and we're going to give it a format, and the format is going to be MMMD, so full month, two digit date, and 4-digit year. Okay, now we're going to set our journal title as well with journal dot title and details, journal details dot text, journal dot entry, so whatever the entry is. Okay, and yeah, so I think we can leave it there. Okay, so with that, our cell is ready to be set. So we're going to go back to journal view controller, and we're going to say here as journal table view cell, and we're going to return that cell, and we simply, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to create a dummy data function, and going to create a new entry dot init, and you're gonna say entry 1, today's date, new title, some user. Okay, it's just basically a dummy data. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it a few times. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create an array. Journals. Array of journal entry. I'm going to initialize it to empty. And we're simply going to add that. So journal append. Okay. All right. 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to call this self.dummy data. Right here, we're going to make sure that we return journals.count here, and here we're going to say cell.journal is equal to index path, journals index path dot row. So give us that particular row of index. Okay, so let's fix it. Right here. Okay, let's try to build, and we're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna make sure that our table view is connected and our table view cell has an identifier, a views identifier. So select your cell and give it a use identifier cell, the same name as we have used right here. Okay, and then we're going to make sure that our table view is connected through the outlet. So we're going to connect that like so, and we are ready to navigate onto this screen after the login is successful. So we're going to take that journal home and go back to our login view controller, and right here when we are actually doing this, we're going to simply say perform segue with identifier journal home sender self. Okay, so if we are successful, we're gonna segue into this new screen. Okay, there's an issue. Need to put self in here because we are inside a closure, and we should be set. If everything that we have done is correct, then we should be able to navigate once we log in. So demo at demo.com, password, login. There we go, and we have successfully logged in, and I don't see any data, and reason is that we forgot to set ourselves as delegate for this table view. So table view dot delegate is equal to self table view dot data source is equal to self, and let's go ahead and try it one more time, and this time we should see some entry. Okay, all right, there we go, and it looks like an eye. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix it a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to go and in our journal table, we want to return our height for right index path, and we want to return 160 because that's the height that we set for our cell. So that way our height for the cell is always constant. So it doesn't look like an eye, but it looks like more like a circle. Okay, there we go. So that looks much better. So all right, so we have our table view with all the journal entries ready to roll. In the next video, we can actually connect to the Firebase database and basically populate this using Firebase backend. All right, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.